If you knew that you would die today, you saw the face of God and love, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that love can break your heart, when you're down so low you cannot fall, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect?
So we've just heard two of the most amazing lines in this Tracy Chapman song that I was guided to actually play for all of us. And I think the lines that stand out are these. And so Tracy Chapman sings this very heart-moving, stirring song, and she says, if you saw the face of God and love, would you change? If you saw the face of God and love, would you change? And that's what we are really looking at the moment within the life of our church. We're looking at an Old Testament concept which says that God wants us to rest on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is an old-fashioned word maybe for some of you, but basically God is saying, I want to meet with my people. I want to meet with my people. I want them to very seriously take this whole opportunity to meet with me, to hear from me, to fall more in love with me, to see more of me. And the important thing is that this time that we put aside to be with our God is a time in which we all meet together. Because as you know, what you hear from God is made so much richer when you are also hearing what others are hearing from their God. So that's what's important about this looking at the Sabbath. We taking this precious commodity time, which the whole world struggles with, and we say, it's time that we want to meet with you, God. It's time that we want to meet with each other so that we can hear and discover more of the amazing nature of our God and what it is that He wants us collectively to do and how He wants us collectively to respond to Him. So, some of you will know, we looked at the whole fact that God said when He was taking the people out of Egypt, He said, I want you to now get to know me as your God. And how did He say He saw us? He saw us as His treasured possession. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That God sees us as His treasured possession. He says, I want you to be brought to myself. And then He goes on to say, I've created this world for you. I've given you all that will make life good and help you to get to know me. But you need to respond to the provision that I've made for you. Meet with me, meet with me, meet with me. Get to know me. Get to know me. I want to meet with you. Let's look at what helps each of us to get to that place where we can meet with our God, and it's a great delight. So I just want you to keep in your hearts and in your thinking this beautiful question that Tracy Chapman has posed.
So we remember that the Psalm 122 says that I was glad when they said, let us go to the house of the Lord. And that's one of Noah's favorite scriptures. And we want to ask this question that you can talk about in the groups. What do you feel like when you think of going to the house of the Lord? Do you feel glad? Is that sense of anticipation there already Friday, Saturday? Are you feeling a sense of wonder and awe and excitement because Sunday, the best day of the week, is coming, when you can meet with God and meet with God's people? That's very important, that sense of anticipation. It's getting our hearts ready, getting ourselves prepared. And the more we anticipate an event and a meeting, the more that relationship grows and the stronger we are able to become in the presence of God. So we don't just miss out. Some people have met with God and not even known they met with God. And so that anticipation prepares us and gets us ready. The other thing is, if you should miss meeting with the people of God, if you should miss Sunday worship, do you feel guilty or do you feel sad? Do you feel guilty that you haven't done the right thing and now someone's going to check up on you and God might be angry with you? Or do you feel sad that you've missed this blessing, this wonderful opportunity, this provision of God? You've missed out on it. It's like if you miss a meal, if you miss the feast, the banquet, for your Christmas party or your New Year's party. Do you feel guilty or do you feel sad? It depends on how you're motivated, what your goal is, what you're trying to do in that experience, and what the purpose is. And so in Isaiah 58, it gives these wonderful words about community and about a just community. And it says these wonderful things. It says, if you keep your feet from breaking the Sabbath and from doing as you please on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the Lord's holy day honorable, and if you honor it not by going your own way and not doing as you pleased or speaking idle words, then you will find your joy in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride on the heights of the land and to feast on the inheritance of your father Jacob. You see, it's a wonderful feast, this delight. You don't get the feast if you don't come with delight. And Isaiah is just saying that the whole nation, the justice of the nation, the health of the nation, the well-being of, it's talking about people working and being paid and not being oppressed. It's an amazing text on economic justice. But all of that flows from meeting with your God and seeing his face and seeing what he is like, understanding his mercy, his grace, his loving kindness, his compassion, his slow to anger, and all those qualities of God, the glory of God, gets expressed in the community life of the church. And that's what we want to experience. We want to experience God through, yes, worship and our heart being touched by his spirit and our spirit coming alive to him. But we also want to experience God through the community. And so we want to ask this question too. How is the Sabbath a delight to you? Can you share different ways that the Sabbath is a delight?
How does it become a delight?
And yes, and how does it become a delight? How is it and how does it become? What journey have you been on? And what journey should other people take to get? Because if you don't feel the delight, then you can't just wait for the feeling. What do you do to get to that place where your heart is where your treasure is? What you treasure is where your heart goes. What your purpose and vision is where your delight will be, your anticipation of what you're trying to aim at. And it depends, what are you coming to meet God for? If it's just to meet your own need in a small, tiny way, you miss out on the bigger thing that God wants to do to connect you relationally to him and to others. And yeah, that's what the Isaiah text is. In Amos chapter 8, it says that sometimes we come to worship and we're thinking about the money we could be making as soon as the worship service is over. And we're saying, hurry up, let's get this over so we can go and make some money. And God is saying, that's not the kind of attitude he wants. We have to see the Sabbath as this incredible blessing that we don't have to work 7 days a week, just on and on and on and on. God has told us we must rest for one day, and everyone must rest, not just the wealthy. Everybody has to rest. Wealthy, middle class, lower class, everybody gets to rest. Everybody's equal. Everybody takes a break from their work. And God will make up with blessing that which we could have done by hard work, exhausting ourselves. He will make up for us. You're putting your future, you're putting your security, not in how hard you can work and how much money you can make. You're putting that security in the Lord your God, and the wonder of knowing Him, being part of His community, and the fact that He provides in incredible, incredible ways. And so the Sabbath is this amazing, amazing blessing, but it's also a very subversive doctrine, because you think it's subverting the culture of this world that says just work, 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 and that will make you have enough money, save enough money, and you'll become secure. You can never be secure. Jesus said you can have a barn full of treasures, and tonight the Lord comes and says, I want your soul, and that's it. There is no guarantee of the future except that you get to know the Lord your God, the glory and the wonder of who He is, and know the people that He's stirred around you. So, can you talk about this, the Sabbath being a subversive doctrine? And how is it subversive? And is it subversive for you? Or is it just a duty? Or is it just something you feel guilty about? Or do you want to feel delightful about the Sabbath and experience that wonderful feast and get the inheritance that God's got for you? Let's discuss this and see how we can help one another.
If I can end off the way I concluded on Sunday when we looked at this whole thing of the Sabbath in a little more detail. I ended with a question that I felt God had given, and that is, when people spend time with Jesus when He was still on earth, because of spending time with Jesus, meeting with Jesus, it was said of those who had been with Jesus, we can see that you have been with Jesus. And that is the big question, the hard question for me. We want people to say, we can see that you have met with Jesus. And so let's ask God to help us to develop this kind of relationship with Him, where people can look at us and our lives and say, we can see, Nola, that you have met with Jesus.
Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change, makes you change. If you knew that you would be alone, knowing right, being wrong, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would find a truth that brings up pain that can't be soothed, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change.